Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Maddie. You probably know me because you've heard my voice a billion times if you've watched my macaron videos. I am a pastry chef, I am an ESL teacher, and I love to read. I read a lot. Currently, as you might know, this is not my kitchen, this is not my apartment, I'm in London, and these are some of the books I've read this month. So my dream is to someday have a physical cafe patisserie. I'd love to have a physical brick and mortar shop where I can bake whatever I want, make a lot of random macarons and share them with people, have really good coffee, and also be able to host like classes and events and all kinds of things in my own space. I also really want to start a book club, and my dream for this someday shop is to have a book club that I could have a tie-in of sorts of pairing a macaron or a dessert or a drink or something with whatever the book is. And then if everybody comes and we have this community event, you know, book clubs in my mind, like, yes, you read the book, but it's more of like a book club, very loose terms about that here. And it's more about the gathering and the eating and the sharing, and maybe you talk about the book a little bit. And if you want to talk about it a lot, you can go in the corner and do that with someone who wants to do that. Anyway, it's more about the food and the connection for me. And I had this dream that seemed like a far off distant thing, and I realized, why am I waiting? This is ridiculous. Why am I waiting for an unknown future time? So I'm starting the book club now. I am calling it Maddie's Baking Book Club because at the root of it, I am a pastry chef. That is so important to me. It's so much of my world and my life. And as I have books that I want to read with other people and connect with, I want this to be a collaboration based on creating something as a way to have this work virtually. And because I'm a pastry chef, I personally am going to be creating baked goods, and I am encouraging everyone who takes part to create something, whether that's a baked good or not. I'll get into that in a second. So, like, what even is this book club? For the first several months, I am choosing a book each month, and I have partnered with a friend or family member to read a book and to then create something after it. So every single month of next year, so far I've got the first 6 months planned out, I have different books for us to read in January, February, March, April, that's what I'm announcing today. Each month, on the last Sunday of that month, I will be posting a macaron dessert tutorial and recipe inspired by the book for that month, and I will also be posting, as a part of that video, a tiny little book discussion with the person I've chosen the book with. So for example, January, the first month, I partner with my friend Amber. She is a fellow ESL teacher and avid reader. We have chosen the book Arsenic and Adobo, and so that first month, the last Sunday of January, I'll be posting my macaron inspired by that book, as well as a short little Zoom discussion that Amber and I are going to have about the book. Again, the goal of this entire book club is community building, reading some fun things, getting out of your comfort zone, and creating things. I love having little nudges into creative spheres without being completely forced to do something. So let's talk about this creation. Like, what am I talking about? What is this? What does this mean for you, for me? What's going on here? So when I'm talking about creating something, let's use the example of Harry Potter. That's not one of the books. We are not reading Harry Potter. Everyone has read Harry Potter, or like, what are you even doing with your life? So if hypothetical here, if Harry Potter were the book chosen for January, there are so many creative bakes out there already revolving around Harry Potter. I've done them myself. You could have a sorting hat macaron, right? It's brown on the outside, you bite in, there's a color that shows you, are you housed in Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, Slytherin, Hufflepuff, just like that. Or you could use a flavor inspiration. They talk about butterbeer. You could do a shape and flavor inspiration. They talk about chocolate frogs. You could just do a themed color. It doesn't have to be macarons. This could be a cake. You could use like the Gryffindor colors. You could make a snitch shaped cake ball. Like, I don't know, it can be anything you want. Doesn't have to be sweet. You can make something inspired by it, whether it's a savory dish, or if you are listening to this and you're like, great idea, I don't like stepping foot in my kitchen, I can't boil water, I don't like it, I don't have the patience, I don't have the time, that's okay. If you want to participate, you can make stick figure drawings. That is okay for me. It is still creation. If you want to draw, if you want to paint, if you want to knit something, if you want to do a claymation stop motion, it is up to you. Just something that you have created that was inspired by the book. Also, I know not everybody reads as much as I do. It's a little bit insane. So far it is November as I'm filming this, I have read about 120 books this year. I know that's insane. I'm absolutely aware of that. If you do not have time to read it, if you don't enjoy the genre of book chosen for that month, this is not one of the books chosen. You can use the cover art. You can use the back cover synopsis. You can go online and find spoiler alerts. It's okay. You do not have to finish the book to participate in this book club. I am open to everyone. Also, as I've mentioned here, as I've mentioned it a couple times in previous videos, I also work as an ESL teacher. This is not exclusive to the English language. I know I'm speaking English, that is my native language. You can find, I think, most of the books that I have chosen for the first several months in other languages. If that is comfortable for you, do not push yourself to read this in English if you don't want to, or if that makes you feel uncomfortable. Again, on a note of inclusivity, yes, most of these books are going to appeal more towards adults. So I will say reader discretion advised on a book by book basis. I'll get into it more later. Some of these books are a little bit geared towards a younger audience or a more diverse audience or an older audience. So I'm going to leave that up to you to choose a book that is appropriate for your reading level and content, as far as what you are comfortable and okay with reading about. Now it is time to tell you all about the first 4 books that we'll be reading for 2023. This is starting in January. There's 1 book for each month of next year. These first couple I have chosen with other people. I'm trying to include a lot of genres and things like that. There'll be more information. I'll leave all the links down below. So if you want to check these out and get a lot more information, like, please feel free to do that. And I'll be leaving a lot of information about this entire process in the description box as well. So for January, the book is called Arsenic and Adobo. It is a really lovely, sweet, lighthearted, but also still murder mystery book. It is about a woman who kind of ends up getting wrapped up in a situation at her auntie's restaurant where a customer unfortunately dies in the middle of his meal. And so she needs to figure out, well, she doesn't need to. She is not involved with police or law enforcement in any way, but she decides to figure out what happened to him to clear her auntie and her family's name. It is a cozy mystery. So yes, like there is a lot of stuff that is happening here that is like crime and kind of, you know, someone obviously dies in like the first chapter, but it is not graphic. It is rather like sweet and lighthearted and bubbly a lot of the time. The next book for February is called When Women Were Dragons. This is a book that my sister-in-law Caitlin helped me to choose. I'm very excited about this book. I can't wait to read it with you guys. The cover art, like just from the get-go, it's beautiful. It's a stunning book. It takes place in the 1950s, and so it is like historical fiction, but also fantasy, and also just like very female empowerment forward. So really touching on so many genres here in this one book. Very, very well written, at least, okay, I believe it's well written, and I'm really excited for you guys to read this one too. For March, my cousin Bria and I are reading a more youth-focused book. It's called A Place at the Table. This is a very food-forward book. It's written actually by two authors, and each one writes and voices a different girl. It's a story about friendship and family, multiculturalism, immigrants in the US, different cultures, kind of understanding each other, and all takes place in a middle school. If you are a younger person, or if you are looking for something that maybe is an easier read as far as linguistic difficulty, this is going to be a really great book for you. And because the book is so food focused, I think there are going to be so many really great ways to tie in that into a creation and a project. For April, the last book I'm going to announce for today is a book called Fable. This one too is more of a young adult novel. It is very fantasy, adventure, pirate forward, like nautical adventure kind of forward. And I am reading this book with my friend Marie. Marie and I both are quite obsessed with pirates, have been forever. So I'm really excited to get into this. And again, the cover art on this, you see the main character, this young woman's face, and it's just already so inspiring. I can't wait to see very like pirate, beach, watery vibes in all of these things that everyone is creating. I just cannot wait. So last thing here, how do you get involved? When do you know what to do? What's going on? As I mentioned, last Sunday of every month is when I will be posting and when I encourage everyone else to post, but you can post honestly whenever you want. I'm going to be using the hashtag Maddie's Baking Book Club. It will always be Maddie's Baking Book Club for every single month. And so if you are posting early or late, I mean, this is not a class. You will not be punished or penalized if you post a day late or a week early. Like, it's okay. You can use the same hashtag. And again, I really want this to be open to, let's say you read Arsenic and Adobo, which is the January book. If you read it in March and want to post about it in April, that's okay. You still can do that. This hashtag is going to be open to anyone for these books, for reading, for collaborating, for community building. So anyway, I will be posting here on YouTube, again with a recipe and tutorial, the tiny book discussion, and then on Instagram, I will also be posting reels, photos, that kind of thing, using that hashtag. So really it's Instagram where all of the community connections can be happening as far as, you know, noticing what everybody else is doing. You do not have to sign up. You do not have to tell me. You can, you're welcome to. You do not have to ever ask permission or anything like that. This is completely open to everyone. I will leave highlights on my Instagram page. I will have all the information down below here. And you can feel free to send me a message here in the comment section, in a private message on Instagram, anytime. I'm so happy to answer questions about this or talk about it. As I think you have guessed from the general vibe of this video, I'm so excited. I read so much anyway, and I really love the push to try new things, make new recipes, kind of get outside of my comfort zone. And I love it when people are trying things too. I love it when I can share my books with other people. I travel a lot, and I've kind of just been leaving a trail of books around the world as I go, and I don't have room in my suitcase to bring them with me. And so I'm really excited to go forward with this project. As I shared today, I have these first 4 books: January, Arsenic and Adobo; February, When Women Were Dragons; March, A Place at the Table; and April, Fable. After that point, in April, I will be announcing the next upcoming books. And in the future, I'm hoping, as I've gotten some other friends involved so far, I'm hoping to continue this momentum of getting new people involved, different people helping me choose the books, to really continue the expansion and growth of, you know, just getting people outside of reading what they usually would read. Me personally, I read a ton of romance novels, just like all the time, constantly binge read romance novels. And that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. But I also love the opportunity to have a little shove into a different genre once in a while. And so I'm really excited with this book club to have the opportunity to really engage with different genres. And I'm hoping that this will continue to be an opportunity to do that. Again, book list is down in the description box. This book club is open to everyone. Reader discretion is advised. Make sure that the book is appropriate for your reading level and maturity level. But there is nothing I really have to warn off in these first several books. A lot of them are pretty open to everyone. And the hashtag again is Maddie's Baking Book Club. You can use that on Instagram to follow. And even if you don't want to participate by reading or baking anything, you can follow along with what everyone else who is participating. So if you just want to stalk the hashtag, please feel free to do that. You are more than welcome to. And yeah, so the last Sunday of every month is the plan. If you have questions, please let me know at any time. I really look forward to telling you more about this as time goes on. Thanks so much for listening, and now back to regularly scheduled macaron content.